Hi everyone and welcome to episode 307 of the Mike White's podcast. I'm Jack, as always joined by Casey.
Know it?
How's things, mate?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. Still riding the highs of Monday night.
Yeah, that seems to have been the case sort of across the fan base. I stopped watching the highlights after a couple of days, I calmed down, went a bit more back to normal. And then me and my dad went to watch Garth of Town on Saturday. And I got round there and the first thing he said was, I'm still on such a high from that game on Monday night. By the way, they got beat at home 2-0 by top of the league Cleethorpes. It was not much of a game. It's fair to say the wind had an effect.
Fun.
Yeah, it wasn't a great game. I'll tell you what, though, actually, on the subject of that game, I did get to see maybe the most objectively incorrect amount of stoppage time I have ever seen. The ref did not have any control of the game, but there was so many injuries. Like the Garth of right back got put in the hoardings in like the first 6 minutes. It was really early on. And it was coming up on half time. And between us, me and my dad, we always end up going, how long do you reckon? And the guesses were 6 and 7 minutes. And the noise that came out of the crowd when the board went up saying 1 minute. It wasn't, what when it's not anger, it's laughter. Like, and it was followed by anger when people realised, oh, that means Garth are going to get less time with the wind behind them than they should. And then it became anger. But when it happened, people just went, are they subbing the goalkeeper? Like, it can't be 1 minute. It was a weird one. Yeah, but it's nice to get to go to a non-league game when Leeds are playing on the Monday night. Before we get into Monday's game, there is a couple of bits of news that we should probably mention. We'll do the easier one first. Angus Kinnear apparently is wanted by the Friedkin Group to be like CEO for Everton. Would you give a shit?
No, I mean, it's always a tough one with Kinnear because I know he does. I very much appreciate that he does the interviews with the square ball and stuff like that. I then don't appreciate the stuff you have to sort of reel back on and just go, that's not true though, is it? Yeah. But I suppose that's the job of a football administrator.
Yeah, he seems to have calmed down from a few years ago when he would every now and then just say one monumentally stupid thing every so often.
Yeah, I think for me it also helps that because I've never bought the programs in years, so I've never been one to read.
Same.
Yeah, I've never read the notes he writes in there or anything like that. I've read much worse program notes. Let's put it that way. I've read program notes where someone has had to go through with black marker to scribble out someone's phone number and address. So probably
no prizes to anyone for guessing which chairman that was.
He's very much associated with the Leeds United Calypso. Yeah, like I suppose in terms of finances, there has been. You'd probably say we have mostly been successful in that regard.
Off the field stuff, we haven't been run off the field. We appear to have been run by footballing standards well. Now, admittedly, the passing grade is low in football. When you look at the number of basket case clubs there are, there's been some on-field decisions that are, and although he will have his hand on the purse strings, so to say, I can't blame it on him for bad choices of players. That's not him.
I could potentially blame him. I suppose it then comes down to how involved he was with the financial aspects of certain deals. Because I think it would be very easy for him and Victor Orta to be able to point at each other when you showed pictures of people like Jean-Kevin Augustin. But yeah, like in terms of like you say, the commercial side of things, I think has been probably maximized as well as it could be for a club in our position. Yeah, like if he goes, good luck to him. I bear him no ill will.
It's a big fat meh, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I don't think it'll make much difference whoever comes in next, unless we get, I don't know, a Ridsdale type, or on the other end, or someone at the other end of the scale who just won't spend anything. But we might have, our finances might be a little bit more complicated if the 49ers buy Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, I have heard a couple of different variations on this, that it's...
The note I've written down is 49ers / Parag Marathe involved in bid to buy Rangers.
I don't want to sound demeaning to Rangers when I refer to it as a Parag Marathe side project. This is just something I do on...
That's my Alan Parsons project cover band.
Yeah, it's an odd one, but I mean, sure, good luck. I was listening to the Square Ball discussing it earlier today, and I think I do agree with the sentiment. I see no romance in connected football clubs, and
no, it's shit.
It's not the way anything should be. If I were Rangers,
we're going to have to do it though. Like, just in terms of, from a business perspective, they will have to. It's not just like, oh, the top 5 clubs in the Premier League have got these. I mean, fucking Brentford have.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we haven't seen any of the 49ers training squad been sent across yet for a season of seasoning in the Championship. But it's another step in the direction of everything shit about modern football, apart from Pascal Strauch's glorious header.
I can think of literally one advantage, and that's that Rangers would be a decent place to send players on loan on Football Manager 26 if it ever comes out. That's about it. Really.
It seems like an ideal place for Joe Gelhardt to go.
Well, he was linked in January, wasn't he? And I did think, I'd be up for that because he'll score 20 goals in no time and get some confidence.
Yeah, again, one of those things I think you probably need to look into it once a few more details emerge. Is Mike Ashley? Does he own Rangers? Does he own a stake of?
He was definitely involved, but I think it's still that. Is it Dave King? It's still him to an extent. I haven't had time to read it much, but the last report I saw said that it was expected to be that it could be done by June. The prospective owners would acquire more than 50% of the shares while taking on the debt, much of it owed to former chairman John Bennett. So we'll just see what happens with that. We can cross that bridge when we come to it. And this, I didn't even watch it. Burnley won. It was 4-0, wasn't it, in the end?
I think so.
I mean, that's a lot of goals for them. It was the normal thing of I did check Twitter, very early. And after about 25 minutes, all the Burnley fans were saying, how the hell are we not losing this? But as it turned around to be 4-0, I'm fairly sure that they will have deserved it by the end. So that'll have closed things up a little bit in the table. We now only have 4 points on Burnley, 2 points on Sheffield United. We still have 10 on Sunderland because Sunderland got beat at home by Hull, didn't they?
Yeah, it's all coming together in the Championship.
Yeah. So Leeds top 72 points. Burnley and Verdon. Second, Sheffield United, where we go tomorrow night. Quite a big game.
Don't lose.
Yeah, it is a bit don't lose, isn't it? Like a point. Look, don't get me wrong. We said the same to an extent with the Sunderland game on this. Like that a point is not a dreadful result, and it absolutely isn't. Burnley's win and it being a comfortable win, closing them up a bit, doesn't help, but still a point is not a bad result at all. They have been in a really overall. I know they got that random 3-0 defeat at home to Hull. But even though their performances, by all accounts, have not been great, where have we got? They've won 6 out of 7. And even if the performances haven't been that inspiring, if you win 6 out of 7, that's really good form. You can't particularly argue with it. They've got a weird squad in that I look at it, and when you first look, you think, I don't think it's close to ours. And when you look at the players, and actually, Ahmed Odzic is a really good defender. And in the Championship, Chowdhury's pretty good. And, you've got Callum O'Hare, who's been good at this level for a while. Vinicius Souza is good. He's been injured, but obviously Harmer is really good. They've spent, 12 million on that Tom Cannon?
Yeah.
Play up front. Got Brereton Diaz in as well. So between them, there should be some goals. There's a lot of people don't rate Cannon particularly highly, and I don't think he's going to be a world beater or anything, but in the Championship, he's a very good striker. So, yeah, if you can go there and not get beat, you've done fine.
Yeah, like you say, it's a weird squad. I mean, the one I kind of go to straight away at this point is still Ryan Brewster.
Yeah, 25 million or so, and he scored about 3 goals in 3 years.
This season he is 26 appearances, 2 goals, 2 assists, and a yellow card. And he was signed in the Premier League, presumably to be a Premier League striker, off the back of never playing a season of Premier League football.
Yeah, he had. Was it Swansea, the really good loan he had?
Yeah,
he got 10 in 20 for Swansea.
Yeah, it's.
He's actually got 16 in 96 for Sheffield United, which I know isn't good, especially considering the amount of money they've paid. Yeah, 23.5 million apparently. That is not good. It is, however, maybe twice as many as I thought in terms of a ratio of goals per game. Because I didn't realise he played that many games for them either.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking here for Sheffield United. It's 6 league goals.
Oh, are they all cup?
I mean, again, you say all.
Well, the other 10.
Yeah, it's not been good for. I mean, I remember watching. I think I happened to be watching them when they played Millwall, and he scored his first goal in, I think it was something like 16 months.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm surprised he didn't just score and celebrate by sprinting back to Sheffield. But like you say, it's a good team. They did come down and manage to keep some decent players.
I mean, the other thing with them is they've got a bit of depth. Like their sub centre half coming off the bench in the last game was Rob Holding, who I know isn't a world beater, but he's played in the Premier League for a decade for a reason. They've got that Tyrese Campbell as well, who is, I mean, he's better than Brewster, and they got him for free. I believe that they still think. Last I heard, Kiefer Moore was still going to be out, but now he's just down as doubtful. So there's a chance that maybe he'll be back. And we always say with Kiefer Moore, one, he always seems to do all right against Leeds, but 2, he's the exact sort of big shithouse that we struggle against. And I was going to say they've got maybe best goalkeeper in the league, but this season that is James Trafford, probably the second best goalkeeper in the league. Michael Cooper.
What an unassuming name. Yeah, like you say, it's a squad that's got a decent bit of depth to it. And Jamie Shackleton's there as well.
Is he injured? Normally is.
No, I mean, he's got to find a way to get himself to the game, I imagine. But
he can afford an Uber. And as far as I'm aware, he isn't banned. As of this moment.
Someone should have told him that earlier, that he could afford an Uber. And probably shouldn't have driven to his own home, but that's again by the by. I don't need to say allegedly, do I? Those, apart from the ban thing, everything else is true. He's a real footballer now. I think that's the qualification, is it? Once you've been done for drink driving or something like that, or I think it was
drag racing down the motorway.
Yeah, that was Seth Johnson, wasn't it? That one.
It wasn't just him; there was others, but I can't remember who they were.
Yeah, we've got off topic here anyway. But yeah, they are a good team. I do look at the results of their recent run of games. I know you've said there, what was it, won 6 out of the last 7.
Yeah, 6 out. Other than the whole game, they've won 6 of 7.
But at the same time, like going from around that game, so beat Swansea 2-1. Swansea had a man sent off. Lost 3-0 to Hull. Beat Derby 1-0. Beat Portsmouth 1-0.
But the 2-1, it was 2-1 at the Portsmouth game.
Yeah, 3-1.
That was the one where, by all accounts, Portsmouth should have won that and won it at a canter.
3-1 win against Middlesbrough, which is a good result. And then a 1-0 game against Luton, which you mentioned previously that Luton probably should have got something from.
Yeah, by all accounts, because I've been going out of my way to not watch all the other games, because I know that once we get to April, I'll be having to do that, and it gets more stressful than it needs to be. As it, they're full of good players, but they aren't playing nearly as well as we are. Just flicking through, they went 5 at the back at Ellen Road, but it's the only time that they've done it this season, by the looks of it. At least, and they definitely haven't done it recently. No, and they were poor. And I think Wilder said, like in the press conference afterwards, that he was trying something with it being away at Leeds and it didn't work. So I would assume that they'll be at the 4, either 4-2-3-1, or maybe they might play a bit more defensive and drop the wingers in a little bit. But because they're quite attacking players that will play there anyway, I think functionally it'll be the same. They did play 4-4-2 against Portsmouth because they played Campbell and Cannon. But yeah, I would guess probably 4-2-3-1. In which case, it's a pretty strong team. Because you're looking at likely Michael Cooper in goal. That's one we haven't mentioned. Harry Clark, who we've got from Ipswich. Who I still don't know what to make of, because when I've watched it, he's made some really big mistakes whenever I've watched him. But I don't know if it's just that the timing of the games I've watched. We've got Ahmed Hodzic and Jack Robinson at centre-half. I suppose it could be Holding, but it appears to be pretty consistent with them too. We've got Harrison Burrows for left-back, but it could be... is it Sam McCallum?
Yeah.
Yeah, who could also play there. Probably Vinny Souza and Hamza Chowdhury in the middle. And then apparently Gus Harmer is fit again. So it depends whether they want to play him on the left, which they've done a fair bit, or whether they want to play him at 10. And just looking at what they've done most of the times recently, it looks like more likely Harmer on the left. But it depends whether Brereton Diaz starts, basically, by the looks of it. If Diaz starts, Brereton Diaz will be on the left. And if he doesn't, it'll be Harmer on the left. Probably Raksaki on the right, who I still really like.
Great name as well.
Yeah, Jesser and Raksaki. And then Callum O'Hare at 10 if Harmer isn't. And probably Tyrese Campbell up front, because I doubt Kiefer Moore's going to be fit to start. But yeah, it's a good side, but I just don't think it's as good as ours.
No, like you say, I think central defence. I think Ahmed Hodzic.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Anel Ahmed Hodzic. I think
that's the one.
You might actually pronounce the H, but I'm from Yorkshire, so
yeah. He
FM Wonder Kid of a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think I've probably got him down as the best central defender in the league. I think he might. I think if you're going to if I was going to put a partnership together, it might be him and Roden.
Yeah, I mean, again, I haven't seen as much this year. By reputation, he's one of them. I'd say probably Roden, that Esteve from Burnley. He's been really good. So he's probably the other one who's in with a shout. I think most teams of the season had Esteve and Roden or Egan Riley, because some of them just picked Burnley centre halves because they've conceded 9 goals this season. And I'm not gonna say that's unreasonable.
Yeah. And then you've got Jack Robinson, who is a good championship defender to have in your team.
He's decent, but I wouldn't like if they went with Burrows and Robinson on the same, because Burrows is a good player, but he's definitely a lot better going forward than he is defensively. If they're playing Jack Robinson at left centre back and Burrows at left back, my key man for Leeds is Dan James / Jayden Bogle.
Yeah,
I'd be looking at that side thinking, I think that's where we can get in the best. From the Leeds perspective, the only bit out of the team, obviously Verba and Bamford were still out, but Farker said Solomon has a knock. Do you think that is... I mean, 95% of the time when Farker says a player has a knock, they're playing at the weekend.
Yeah, I think he starts in spite of what I thought was probably one of his poorer games in the last couple of months. I think he does start this one if he's fit enough for it.
I wouldn't mind seeing Ramazani at all. 1, because he's a good player, but 2, I think he had a really good game. If I remember right, didn't he have a really good game in the home game?
Yeah, he did. I think that was one of the last games before he got injured, because there was that one more, and then he got injured in the Watford game, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, when he scored after like 4 minutes when their keeper chucked it in, and then got injured almost straight after.
And we were quite poor after that. So basically, what I'm saying is, Manor Solomon's shit is the conclusion of all this.
Yeah. Ignore all the evidence to the contrary.
It's. I think with a game of this magnitude, I can see him trying to keep the team as similar as it has been the last sort of 6-7 weeks.
So do you think? Because I think Strauch starts this one. I think it's time.
What? I suppose in that case, then.
And I'm guessing I'm saying for Gruev, Ampadu into midfield in Gruev's place.
Yeah, because I think the problem with this was always going to be coming into this game. I don't see him going with Ampadu and Rothwell as essentially a completely new central midfield partnership that's not really had a lot of minutes together, playing against second in the table.
Yeah,
so
no,
I think he ends up going. Yeah, I agree. Ampadu and Tanaka with that.
Which, by the way, is very harsh on Joe Rothwell, who, of course, came on and was really good. Not just for set pieces, he was just really good against Sunderland. So he probably, quote-unquote, deserves a start, but I don't think he's going to get one. If he's going to start, I think it'd be for Aronson, and I don't see him doing that.
No. And then, I think from there, the hope is, I suppose at this point, the hope is that we get into a comfortable lead relatively early on, so that the yellow card, the players hovering around on yellow cards can be brought off on the 70-minute mark.
Is it just Bogle that's one away?
I think it might be.
Because that was Bogle's 9th, wasn't it? So he's got to get through 4 games without a yellow to avoid a 2-game ban. And I bet Purpo's on at least 8.
If you could get through these 2 games, I'd be quite happy then.
Yeah, because it's then West Brom at the weekend, who beat Oxford 2-0. It just looked nice on the goal scorers because they scored in the 11th minute and then 90 plus 11.
Firpo is on 7.
4 games to not get 3 yellows. I don't like those odds, to be honest. He loves a cynical pullback. So, yeah, I think for Leeds, I'm saying Melly in goal, Bogle, Roden, Strauch, Firpo, Tanaka and Ampadu, James, Allenson, Solomon, Piru.
I bet this must be a really tough one for Fark, who loves a reliable starting 11 in games like this.
Yeah.
And the performances, some of the performances on Monday night have really have made him had to question this.
Yeah, because it's not just that Strout came on and did so well. It's that also like Ampadu was at fault for the goal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think that team is probably right that Ampadu gets the move into midfield, and it's him and Tanaka. And yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think when, like you say, when it's a knock, it's normally I want to say pull through, but yeah, they're normally there in the starting lineup.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's what we'll go for. I mean, as it's Farker, if it was Ampadu centre back and Grove in midfield, I wouldn't be that shocked. But I think it's time. I think that on paper it's as long as and I did it. It was probably one of the square balls, but it might have been an all stats that way one from like last week. I believe that Roden, Strauch, Ampadu, Tanaka as a 4, like the central 4. I think we've only actually been able to play it once.
Yeah, this is going to be like kind of those famous teams where you think you can reel them off 1 to 11, and it turns out they only ever actually played together twice, because there was like if you kind of go through the promotion team under Bielsa, you there go like I could pretty much name this team, but then you there go Alioski did start a lot of these games, but Stuart Dallas was the left back.
Yeah, it's well, I mean, the famous example is the Revy team only played together once, didn't it?
Yeah.
The Revy team. That everyone knows. So yeah, we'll see. But I think if we play both those teams, we will definitely have more of the ball from those two lineups. But I don't think Wilder's going to make the same mistake he did at Ellen Road of just going, "Oh, I'm going to sit back and defend."
Because they can't at home either, can they?
No, so I think this will be a better game. I still think we'll have more of the ball, but instead of it being like 70-30, I think it'll be 55-45. Unless we go 1-0 down, in which case they will park on, not even on the edge of the box, but penalty spot. It's like...
Yeah, I think so. Because again, at this point now, I think both teams will take a draw, but a win would be absolutely massive for either.
Right now, and I'm assuming that they would, if there was the option for Farker and Wilder to shake hands right now on a 0-0.
No, it's got to be 1-1, Jack. You've got to make it look competitive.
Oh, right, fair. But do you think they'd do it?
Yeah. I think Farker would. I don't think Chris Wilder would.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Chris Wilder strikes me as a man who might be willing to take a gamble in if given those options.
Yeah, fair.
Anything to get back at Patrick Bamford.
Yeah. As usual, I haven't had Connie's inevitable win, 5-0 win or whatever it'll be. But Alex has gone 1-0 and Benny has gone 2-1, both going for a win. So as usual, they're all really confident. How confident are you?
I'm going 1-1. I am willing to take much like Daniel Farker. I am willing to take the draw.
Yeah, I am going to go full pessimism. No, I'm not. I was going to go full pessimism mode, but I keep looking at their players and just thinking, no, our team is better. 1-0 win. I cannot believe I'm predicting a win in this game, but I just keep looking at that team and just thinking that ours just looks better than theirs. And if we pick the team that we think we do, it'll be me. It'll be typical for me to finally get my wish, and they pick what I consider to be our best team on paper. The wingers, arguable, but current form, I can't argue that they're not the best two. If we finally play that and that's when we play shit, then I will just have to go, see, I know nothing. Which will be about the 10th time this season I've had to say that, but still.
Yeah.
So, but a win. If you win that game and you're 5 points clear of second and you're 7 points clear of third, you're in such a strong position. With, in theory, the easiest running of any team at the top. But, we fucked up against Blackburn and Sunderland at home last season and it cost us promotion. So, and they weren't even battling, they were mid-table doing nothing at the time.
One of them was relegation fodder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you say, it would be huge to pull away. And I think even more so that you then go 13 points clear of Sunderland. And again, you're just pulling away from teams behind you. And if you can just cast one more off, it would be huge. And then you've just got to go win the games, which you should, which admittedly, I think after West Brom, there's a Middlesbrough game in there somewhere, and then it's pretty much all the rest of them you should be winning.
Yeah, and obviously that's not going to happen. But you look at it and go, because, I mean, what have we got left? We've got 13 games. And to get to 90 points, we need to win 6.
Oof. I don't want to set another record of high points to not go up.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
Oh, is that what we're going to do? We're going to win. We're going to get to 94 points and come third. Is that
the idea that somehow we beat like Reading's record for promotion and we still finish third somehow.
That one I don't think is possible.
Listen, Jack, you can throw out all your maths and whatever you like. I just don't think you know until the end of the season whether these things are possible or not.
Yeah, there's always, no, we'll get a 15-point deduction, so it'll be
somehow for like a FIFA Fair Play award or something like that. Burnley actually get 3 points added onto their season. It drops us down. You just like, for God's sake.
Because after 46 games, we've conceded 13 goals. We've just gone, no, you have to go up with. You just do. Yeah. So we will be back. I don't know. Not Tuesday, not Wednesday. Probably Thursday then. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know, but my gut says maybe. And we will have to actually combine everything up that week because Leeds are the early kickoff Saturday, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So we will be back either Thursday or Friday, depending on what works out best. But that'll do us for episode 307 at Mike White's podcast. I've been Jack. See you.
I've been Casey. Have a good one.
In a bit.